Hey golfers, I'm Drew Mahowald of Second Swing Golf here out at Rosen Shingle Creek Golf Academy at the PJ Show with Chad Embrey. This is with Fujikura golf shafts, and we've got some new offerings to talk about from Fujikura in 2025. So that's why Chad's here with us. We're going to do a little bit of testing here as well, which we're very excited about. But first, we've got to talk about what's new. I think back in 2024, of course, Velocore Plus was kind of the big calling card from Fujikura throughout the year. We're very excited about it, and it was really successful in the fitting base. So now there's a little bit of an addition to the kind of Velocore Plus. We've got the hybrid collection, and we've got a new white as well. So let's run through the hybrid collection first. Let's kind of go through what Velocore Plus is, and then in terms of the hybrid collection, what's different there maybe versus the driver and fairways, or maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, let's take it from there. So Velocore Plus, as you had mentioned, very successful for us in 2024. It played on the original version of the Ventus, so we weren't recreating the wheel. We basically just came out and said, let's make it a little bit better, use different materials. So what's different between the Plus and the original is the Plus uses higher mod material. So in what we'll call the original version, we were using pitch 70 and 40 ton material, full length on the bias core. That really is the essence of what Velocore is. We decided to take higher tonnage, so we still use pitch 70. We use 50 ton, and then we added another material, a softer material, to kind of counteract the stiffer material of the 50 ton over the 40 ton. Worked great, see better ball speed, see better dispersions, and so we thought, why not refresh our hybrid line?
Sure.
To make it a little bit better, right? We're all trying to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have three profiles. Something new for us is the red profile. We did not have a red profile in the OG version of the Ventus. It is the softer, get it up in the air, help ball flight a little bit, create a little bit more spin. We have that in the lightweights, so 60 gram all the way up to 90 gram. We find that even better players like that ball flight, right? So when we talk about high ball flight, it's not necessarily a high ball flight, traditionally what you'd think of, a 45 gram Vista Pro, but it is the higher of the tour flighted product line in the Ventus.
I think that's something to keep in mind is these are sort of, designed for tour use in a sense, right?
Absolutely.
These are designed for players, and you'll see a lot of Ventus red Velocore out on tours, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Even maybe drivers, but also a lot in the fairwoods and hybrids.
Correct. We did see it work much better, and again, because it's what the ball flight suggests, right? You want to get your 3-wood up, you want to get it out there, you want carry distance, you want to land soft. So we came out with the red version this year, which is new for us. We got a lot of consumers that were demanding the red because they use red in the driver, and just kind of that stigma of saying blue was too much for me. I need the red, even though the blue, softer, lighter versions were kind of a red profile. It was just the color that kind of turns people off. Gotcha. So adding that red, we get a whole new customer base in that says, great, red's for me, I'm going to go with the red. Along with the red, we have the blue and the black, which is traditional. The OG Ventus Hybrid came in only blue and black. Again, adding the red. But the blue and black is exactly what falls into the wood category. So the red's the higher launch, the blue's kind of the mid-launch, and then the black's the lower spinning launch. Yeah. So it does follow, per your question to start, kind of the same ball flight pattern as the wood shafts. Sure. So that's the Ventus Velocore Plus. It uses that material that we talked about, full length in there, so it gives you the dispersion, it gives you the distance, gives you the same feel that you would have. Obviously, being a hybrid, not identical because you got turf interaction, it's not off a tee, but it does promote same feel throughout the entire product line.
Sure.
So that's new for us this year, and we're super excited about those, in particular that red shaft, because we have seen even better players wanting that same profile, that higher launch.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the neat part about it is you're taking I think Velocore and Velocore Plus technology that I think it's something that a lot of golfers, I think their shaft technology is so much different because you're in this little golf shaft, and it's one thing with club heads, you can kind of sometimes see the technologies, otherwise you can see kind of what's going on inside the club head sometimes. But with the shafts, it's a little bit tougher to actually visually see what's new. Yeah. But the results of what Velocore provides in Velocore Plus is basically it's resisting the twisting, right, is kind of the idea, to keep things square, and ultimately that helps with center face contact.
Yeah, it does. And what it helps with even more than that, in particular for golfers like myself, is off-center hits. So yes, you're delivering it more consistently, getting more center contact more consistently, but also your toe and heel hits will not have as much dispersion traditionally that maybe another shaft would. So it not only does it keep you straighter, but it also gets you more consistent in that center of face.
Yeah, so now that transitioning to what you also have with the white shaft there in your hand. So In the past, Velocore Plus, it's been, as you mentioned, kind of tour use. It's been designed for a lot of those profiles or players, maybe better golfers out there, swinging a little bit faster. Now we got the white, so that kind of brings an entire new sort of section of golfers into play here. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're super stoked about this one. 40 gram comes in senior flex, R flex, and stiff flex. And it kind of deviates, and that's why we made it white, is because it doesn't follow the same line like you were talking about as a tour usage. So if you make a 40 gram in white, then people still think, none of the Ventus were okay for me, right? They were all a little bit stiff. They were all a little bit low ball flight. So this one, basically, we've designed this to be obviously softer. That's going to promote getting higher launch, higher peak height, as well as a little bit of spin. Mm-hmm. So now we're taking the golfer that may be 45 to 65 years old that says, I'm still a good golfer.
Right.
I still want to play high-end equipment, but now there's something in the line that fits that person's eye, not only, but also ball flight and spin rate to maximize carry distance and get that dispersion benefits out of Velocore.
And what are the different options in terms of flex and weighting with this again?
So it's only in a 40 gram.
Only 40 grams?
It's only 40 gram, and then the flexes, like I mentioned, are senior, R flex, and S flex. So again, we find that there's a whole community of golfers out there that, again, when they were 30, they were plus ones, plus twos. Now they're 65.
Right.
And you can't play a Ventus Black 9X like you did when you were 30. But you still want to play good. You still want to be competitive. You still want to get out there and grind. And making a shaft with as much technology that's in this white, but is also suitable for that guy now that's still probably a 3 or 4 handicap that wants to get out there and score. He still has the technology available to him, but also get something that's going to get him the right ball flight. And
so we're going to do a little bit, just a brief testing here after this. But one more question I had for you was on the different, the black, the blue, and the red profiles. Let's say a golfer is going to get fit for, maybe their entire driver, fairwood, and hybrid, all their metals. Is it more likely a player is going to have, say, the black profile all the way through, or maybe is it going to be a mix of them, or where do you see that falling in? Is there a possibility that someone could have maybe all 3 in the bag? Yeah, absolutely. People want different clubs to do different things for how they're playing the game, right? So maybe you're in a hot climate, you want a ton of roll, right? And that's, you get yourself a black. Maybe you're in a windy climate. But then a guy that hits a 7X black that gets it out there, he's got a lot less distance into that green. So you may want to put a red in the hybrid to have that land soft and hold a green. Whereas me, no matter how hard I hit my drive on a par 5, I'm coming in with a 3-wood and I need roll. So right. So then for me, maybe I go to a blue or a black in that 3-wood to try to get that done. So it really depends on what you're trying to do with your clubs, but it's absolutely a crapshoot when it comes down to what particular model, what particular weight, what particular flex you're putting in all of your clubs, to be honest with you. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I know, the shaft fitting component of club fitting almost sometimes falls a little bit by the wayside in that sense. It's all about club heads. There's so much marketing with that, but as we know at Second Swing, the shaft is such a vital component. It's the timing mechanism of the golf club. So getting that dialed in is very important. Chad, thank you for giving us the lowdown here on what's new from Fujikura in 2025. Yeah. We're going to do a little bit of testing, but we're really excited about what we see here. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time. It's a pleasure, and thank you very much. Ooh. There's the swing. Oh, that might go in the hole. It's perfect.
It's good. It's really good.
All right, now I'd like to bring in Andrew Hoang, who helped with some testing. I hit the Ventus Hybrid Collection with Velocore Plus just now. Here it's like 40 degrees outside, so we kind of stayed in the warm shelter here. But Andrew, thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course.
We've got some data to look over, and Andrew works with some of the best players in the world. He's the tour rep for Fujikura, so you're comfortable in terms of the fitting element here, and kind of working Fujikura products into the bags really of the best players in the world. So I know you've done this type of thing before all the time. I guess with these numbers here, we've tested the red, the black, and the blue in terms of the hybrid. And we should also note too, the hybrid can also be worked into, the hybrid shaft anyway, can be worked into utility irons.
Yeah,
as well.
100%.
So I'm sure you've been working with those as well out on tour. So what do you see here with numbers? What I guess jumps out at you in terms of, again, we got Ventus red, Ventus black, and Ventus blue with the Velocore Plus technology.
Yep,
there.
and so up here we've got Ventus red. I know it's blue, so it's really confusing. We've got it launching at 13.8, spinning at 3,400. We've got blue launching at 10.9, spinning at 35. And then black launching at 9.2, spinning at 35.91.
Yeah.
Right? And so red launched the highest, blue launched in the middle, black launched lowest. The spins were about the same. Obviously, we can look at impact location to kind of see maybe we're catching it a little bit low on the black, and that's why we're seeing a little bit more spin and maybe a little bit more lower launch.
Could be.
But that, in our testing, we've seen pretty consistent results with the red launching higher, the blue launching in the middle, and the black launching lower.
Sure.
Is it going to work that way for every person? Probably not. But for us, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for fitters like you to be able to say, okay, if this guy needs a little bit more launch, then there's some levers that we can pull on. We can grab a red, we can grab maybe a blue. Or this guy wants to just bring it out of the air. He's using this for a utility iron. He's going to hit a low boring shot that runs forever. Then the black or blue could be a good spot too. The biggest thing I wanted to talk to you about after hitting it, what were kind of the feel differences? What did you feel between the three profiles?
Yeah, so I'm with my woods and metals. I feel like I'm used to playing something similar to the black profile, where it's very kind of stiff, and I have you're sort of a good sense of where the club head is. With my I have a relatively quick swing, and I have a relatively quick transition as well. So the black felt kind of the most comfortable to me. But I think I almost liked the ball flight with a hybrid from the red. Because it was a little higher. And I was, if we're talking about a hybrid for me, I would probably start to use that a lot more into greens versus say off of the tee. And so that nice high ball flight that would land softly, I like the flight of that, I think, a little more. So it's kind of a give and take there. And the blue, I guess, is sort of the medium between both of them. I had, unfortunately with the blue, you can see I had kind of that sort of left miss going on. I was maybe pulling it a little bit. We can get into the the hosel and adjustments things there. But so there's kind of a plus side to each of these. And it would again depend on if I'm super feel oriented or super ball flight oriented as a player. I think is probably where you would maybe go. And I'm sure you've got a lot of stories on tour of players
100%.
being one way or the other in that regard.
And so that's why we create profiles with different bending stiffnesses in there, in the handle, the midsection, the tip section, so we can kind of utilize those. Okay, what does this player feel? Does that feel too soft? Does that feel too stiff? Then we can kind of move around between the profiles to kind of find a good fit that times really well with them. And like you said, you have maybe a little bit more of a rapid transition, and the red traditionally does have an ultra stiff handle. In this iteration in the hybrid, it's not as stiff as we would have it in the wood section because it's such a short blank. We found in testing it felt a lot better, softening that up a little bit. And so it's not quite ultra stiff like the black. But it does still provide a ton of stability for you to be able to get after it and feel like the club stays with you. And I think that's what we really saw. And for the use of a hybrid hitting into par fives or maybe even a long, brutal par three, you were hitting it really nice. It was impressive.
And I think, as I alluded to as well, we talked about this kind of maybe off camera a little bit, but my game, I have a utility iron in the bag, and I've been I haven't liked the look of a hybrid. It has that sort of left miss in my head, but the way I was able to hit the club today and see how, I guess, it felt so sturdy with the black especially, kind of gave me this sense in my head of like, okay, this can work. This is stable enough for me. I don't have that fear of that left miss necessarily. So definitely something I'm going to be looking into a little bit more here as the golf 100%. Season gets underway.
Well, and you can throw these in a utility iron as well for that usage. So who knows, maybe a red and whatever utility iron you're using right now could be a game changer. So that'll be really exciting. Yeah,
so I'm lots of things for me to think about with my game this year. But Andrew, thank you for joining and breaking down some of the data here. It was awesome to come here and test out what's new from Fujikura in 2025. golfers get fit for the Ventus Velocore Plus Hybrid Collection this year, or any really of the Ventus Velocore Plus shafts. They're going to help you play better golf and lower your scores. Again, Andrew, thank you for the insights today. This is awesome.
Happy to join you guys.